Hello, I'm Vicki Haddock, Authentic Leadership Coach, and today I'd like to welcome you to my new series, which is Coaching Conversations with my client, Emma. Emma and I have been working together for a little over 2 years, and we began our conversations supporting her around her role at work, and those conversations eventually evolved into topics around parenting, transitions, and healing from the past. So often our conversations reflected topics that are on the minds of so many that I speak with. And I always was just feeling like, wow, if we could just capture these conversations and others could listen in, what an impact it would make. And eventually, Emma and I agreed to record our conversations. And we hope it's our combined desire that they are a service to those who find their way here and listen to these recordings. They are audio only to maintain Emma's privacy. However, other than that, we've really worked to bring you very typical, transparent, and authentic coaching conversations. I want to thank Emma for being willing to share her life in this way. And it's our hope that you will be inspired and encouraged to make some needed changes in your own life because of these conversations. Now, let's listen in.
And it's
Yeah.
just I, I I thought of that and I don't know what that means and I don't want to like put my ego into it like, oh, I'm this amazing person, but I don't know, I
Well, I
something that
think that your openness on your journey of being willing to look inward with humility, but then also recognizing that your experience is not that much dissimilar from a lot of other people's experience and but your willingness to do that work for yourself, I think is also what paves the way for you to then be able to share that with others in a way that impacts. Wow.
no, I know, and it kind of ties into the thing that's been on my mind lately, which is
Yeah.
what is my purpose in this life?
Mhm.
And it's really hard for me. I know, I'm heavy quotation marks here, that it will come. My purpose will make itself known to me at some point, and everything in me wants to force it and be like, okay, what can
Mm.
I do right now to like bring this purpose to me faster? And the answer is probably just wait and surrender to the opportunities because my perception of reality is much smaller and contained than what is possible. I'm really struggling with this right now because I want it.
Well, so as I hear you talking about that, I hear that purpose is like a one-stop destination.
Yeah, that's it's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, tell me about that. What if you had purpose in your hand right now and you had this one thing that represented your clear, exact, clearly defined purpose, and what would that look like or what would that mean?
In my head, purpose will give me the answers that I feel like I'm missing.
Mm,
Like, I like what I do. It pays the bills. I enjoy it most days. Sometimes it's
mhm.
tedious. And I guess I've spun up this story in my head, as we are all want to do. Like, oh, if I had my purpose, I could, you know, have a career that's more tailored to me. I could give more to the world and on and on and on. It feels like I can't be the person that I'm meant to be without that answer.
Mm.
And that is very clearly a story that I'm now realizing.
Well, I think it's part of this, cognitive distortion or thinking trap that is so common to me. I've dealt with it. I know that we've talked about it before, but it's this kind of all or nothing thinking. And it's like life without this defined purpose doesn't have any meaning, or life with the purpose has complete meaning.
I think that's exactly where I am right now. And I don't want to miss, I also don't want to miss where I am now and the
Mhm,
journey that I've taken thus far and the journey that I have yet to take,
mhm,
because that has meaning too. It's this
mm,
cognitive dissonance between these two things that I have warring in my head.
mhm, mm. How do you wanna dice this out a little bit more today?
It's a really good question. I maybe I just need soothing to know that, or to maybe talk about ways, strategies to overcome this cognitive dissonance that I've found myself in, and really, we've talked about this a lot, embrace the present, embrace the now, and train my nervous system to surrender and be
Mm,
open.
mhm. Well, you've just gone through a transition in your life that I think represents this macro idea in a micro way, because you just transitioned into a new location. And when we first met each other, moving to that new location, that idea that you wanted to do that brought a lot of purpose and meaning to your daily focus in that moment. Would that be fair to
Yeah,
say?
absolutely.
Yeah. What would have happened or what would have you missed if in that moment you would have just been able to pick up your whole family and your house and transport yourself to this new location?
Wow, that's a really good point. I would have missed the relationship building that I had with my husband. I would have missed the really powerful opportunity to grieve and transition myself from the place that I had lived my entire life to
That
a
had a
whole
lot
new
of
place.
context and meaning, like layers and layers of kind of emotional and physical, attachments that you were able to let go of.
I do think the transition really helped me shed a lot of the shoulds that I have been carrying around from people in my life, from family, from friends, what I put on, what I think I should be doing, and has allowed me to really step into a more authentic version of myself,
Mhm.
which has been a
Mm. Oh, so
huge shift.
you have hit a milestone on your journey where life has clicked. It's almost like this click where life has come into much more alignment than where it was a year ago for you.
Absolutely. It does
Yeah,
feel like I am where I need to be right now.
yeah. And also this thing that gave you all the purpose and meaning and energy for the last year, which was the bigger piece, right? This piece around your career and doing work that is really aligned has always been there, but it was temporarily, let's say it was on the back burner, right? Because this other piece
Hmm.
of aligning this geographical piece in your life was
Absolutely.
more important.
Yes. And now that that's gone, and all of the other stuff that has been slowly simmering in the background is in full focus
Yeah,
right now.
because it's like all of a sudden there's a vacuum in that space where that was. Now that space is empty and it's ready to be filled with the thing that will pull you to the next destination.
That is a you put into perfect words the what I have been feeling these last couple months. It does feel
Yeah,
like there is a hole, and my immediate reaction, my the training that I've given my neural pathways is fill that hole with something right now.
exactly. Well, that's what I was going to say is how much of that is our need to be doing something tangible, checking things off of a list with the perception that that's what's moving us towards this kind of idealistic destination of for now has become purpose and meaning.
Yep, it is. That's what I've done my whole life. It's what has been drilled into me as this is how you are successful is doing. And if you're not doing, then uh, I don't want to like you're lazy. You're less than worthy. And reprogramming myself, quite frankly, is what I need.
Yeah, yeah. What's the opposite of doing?
Resting, waiting,
Being,
being.
living.
Did you just give me permission to live my life? Oh man.
I think so. Yeah. What would it be like if you could trust deeper that just the act of being and living is taking you closer to the answers to the questions, that you're living into the question instead of needing to search for the answer.
It feels so right in my body to say I can experience my life and I will trust that the answers will make themselves known to me. It sometimes it is infuriating that the answers are so simple. The answers are simple, but actually doing it is much more complicated.
Yeah, yeah, the experiencing of it. But but let's broaden out, right? Because you've just been through a season of life that really brought you much more closely in purpose with your alignment. And it's always interesting to me because I think this is something that I've been pondering in my own life, right? Because I think about, 7, 8 years ago when I began planning the career transition into coaching, and that meant the leap out of the corporate world, and it meant downsizing my personal possessions because that was, my kind of dream to have this more nomadic existence. And now I'm living all of those things. Every day I'm living those things. So the gap between where this kind of magical destination that I wanted to be and reality is much smaller. And so it's no longer about leaps of change and bounds of changes. It's about adjustments and fine tunements.
I really needed that reminder that
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be these massive life altering shifts to get to where my next step is.
No. It's always just one degree of shift. And thinking about you've made right now a bunch of degrees of shift. And we've known all along through our conversations that this desire to align the work and the work hours a little bit more to what feels good for you, maybe the content of your work. You've been doing that all along as well.
Did I tell you that I have every Friday afternoon off now?
You did not.
I did. I went for it and I was able to get 4 hours back to do the chores, and it has made a huge impact in my life.
Ah,
Is it perfect? No, but it's better than it was. And I
but
think
it's more in alignment with where it was than what it
e-
was.
exactly, it was a small shift that has huge impacts in the things that, like, I get to spend more time with my kids on the weekends. I can do my grocery shopping this afternoon instead of on Sunday morning. And that means more time at the park. That means hanging out with new friends that we've made here. And it's been a huge gift. And I
That is, think about that. Like, that is a huge step in alignment again with moving towards this piece of life that was calling you into a more aligned, a more harmonized way of living.
something that I often forget to do is celebrate the like little shifts or even the big shifts to be
Yeah.
like, these are the things that have gotten me into more of an alignment to almost make a not a playbook, but it's a good reminder that alignment is possible.
I don't know how much we've talked about the 7 levels of growth and development over life. Have we talked about that much?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but it'd be worthy for us to, maybe explore that more in another conversation. But so let's go back to the Eiffel Tower, right? The Eiffel Tower metaphor and those 3 stages of the Eiffel Tower, the height of it represent over all these kind of 7 levels of life that we go through. Now, those 7 levels are kind of grouped into 3 stages. So the first 3 stages, equivalent to that, first big chunk on the Eiffel Tower, is all about survival and figuring things out. So that's our stage in life. We're figuring things out in our career. We're getting established. We're starting a family and figuring those things out, whatever that looks like individually for people. And we can be in that stage, like your career could be figured out, and then all of a sudden you roll into parenting, right? So different places in your life, you could be in different stages at the same time. The middle stage is all about a word that I have loved this year, which is individuation. Have you heard that word?
Never heard that word.
I love it because I think that's been like the hallmark word for me this year. Individuation is owning your own value and worth separate from the value and worth of the people around you. So saying it another way is it's disentangling your identity from the identity of people around you, parents, kids, spouse, work people. And that's part of what you were doing on this process of letting go of this one physical space that had so many of those representations that had kept you tangled. You were individuating from them to become your own, to really fully own your unique person. The next level beyond that is expansion. So when you think about something can't truly expand and grow if it's not in balance. But when we come into balance and in alignment, then we can actually move into a space of expansion. So the stages, 5, 6, and 7 on the 7 levels of life are all about expansion, growth, and significance, the legacy we're living, the contribution, the mark that we're giving. about your work. I think that's what you're sensing here in this kind of longing of like, okay, what's the meaning in my work? What's the meaning in life overall? It's that call to continue to move forward and refine that. But right now, you're also just completing this or in this process of individuation, alignment, and that allows you to then move into like fully living into life, which is all about expanding.
I'm jumping ahead of the game, it sounds like. And it's comforting to know that I don't need to barrel towards the end game when I have a huge opportunity. I've seen the benefits of building the stable foundation. I've seen the benefits of individuation.
Yeah, you got it.
And I don't know, once again, permission to
Yeah.
really be who I am, maybe make a little tweak here and there,
Mhm,
and live who I am.
mhm. But that feels awkward to our nervous system that is used to having things way out of whack and way out of alignment. And so your nervous system is recalibrating to what it feels like when things are more in alignment for you.
I can attest to that. It is a continuous reminder to my nervous system that it is safe. There's no
Mhm.
tiger chasing me.
Yep.
And I mean, I'd love to hear what you have to think. It's really that nervous system soothing that will, I don't know, create that expansion.
That's right. It's about letting go of the hypervigilant about life. And when we can let go of that hypervigilance about the tiger chasing us, that's all about safety, right? Emotional safety, psychological safety, physical safety. And you have those things now. And so teaching your nervous system now what it feels like to have those things. Think about how long your nervous system was programmed in the other way,
A
right?
lifetime.
Yeah. And so then lean into the importance of of the being right now, what that being is doing to recalibrate and teach the nervous system what it's like to feel safe, to feel loved, to be able to relax. And you're exactly right. When we're able to relax, that's when the expansion is able to happen in a more natural way.
I I always at the when we get to this point, I always feel so much better and more
Yeah.
in balance to where I started from, which is chaos. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I I know what I need to do now and where I need to focus my energy. And so, thank you.
So what's the shift that's happened for you?
I knew at the start of this that, rest was the answer, but really it's more than that. It's not just rest, it's living as me and being as me, and to give myself permission to wait,
Yeah.
because that's what's going to give me the next step. And
And it's not even just waiting, it's an active waiting, right? It's an active
yes,
being because in that being even allows that recalibration of the nervous system, which is going to be what allows the next stage.
absolutely. I love I love being just reminded that I am enough.
Yeah, you are enough. Let's take that lens now and inform the next, we have a holiday coming up. You have, how does that shift in the lens that you're looking through change the next 2 weeks ahead?
I'm really, really going to put a lot of effort into giving myself space because I feel the most out of balance when I am rushing, when I'm rushing myself, when I'm rushing my kids, when I'm rushing my partner. And we all do better when there's enough space. So planning in that time to hopefully create ease and joy and being like that everyone be their own human is that's my plan.
Yeah, awesome. Does that feel complete for today?
It does.
Awesome.
Thank you for being along until the end of this conversation today. We'd love to have you as a regular listener, so please hit the subscribe button and like this video and check back for the next episode in my conversations with Emma. In the meantime, I'd love to hear what resonated with you most. Leave a comment and I'll look forward to hearing what sparked in you during this conversation. Also, feel free to share this with a friend, and we appreciate you being along in helping us to bring inspiration and hope and healing to all those who listen. So take care and have a beautiful day.